What is the best advice that John Cena has ever given me? How long do you have?
Allow me to bestow on you some veteran advice.
The best advice John Cena has ever given me is not what he told me, is what he showed me. He showed me that you never stop being a student of your craft, and once a champion, you're always a champion. So you always act like a champion, you talk like a champion, and you lead like a champion. For me, after SummerSlam, I had a conversation with John Cena that just gave me so much enlightenment, was so positive, and he gave me words of wisdom and gave me gems that are going to stick with me for the rest of my career.
Best advice John Cena ever gave me, twofold. The first thing was rather recently. I was going through a polarizing time in my career. We were getting, for the first time ever, a let's go Cody, Cody sucks type thing. And he very eloquently told me to be honest with myself as to why a crowd would react that way. Look in the mirror, and if you feel you're doing the right thing, keep doing it. Second piece of advice is if the crowd starts making any noise, in any capacity, they start clapping their hands, they start stomping their feet, if they want you to fight back, something, anything, you have to reward them.
Cody Rhodes has come alive. There's crowd behind him every step of the way.
You have to give them something, whether it's just coming to your feet or whether it's just showing the intent, that fist. There has to be something.
Like, the best advice he gave me is not advice John gave me by voice. It's seeing John set the example as a WWE superstar. And for example, when I first started in WWE and he and I were having matches, I told him how big a fan my son was of him.
He's fighting John Cena? What?
I eventually had the opportunity to bring Owen to meet John. And John had a 2-page handwritten letter for my son, which was incredible. And you know, my son to this day, it's one of his most cherished possessions. I had a show and tell at my daughter's school where we talk about career day, you know, and I was telling him about how I'm a WWE wrestler. And of course, the question, did you ever fight John Cena? Yeah, I did. And then I snowballed it to me trying to FaceTime him in front of the class. He didn't answer, but within an hour, I was able to send a video for the class that he sent.
John and I have gone through a lot together. Big Match John has taken me to the limit many times, and he has shown me truly what it is to be a main event star, what it means to be Seth freaking Rollins.
One thing that John is extremely honest. And when I was struggling before, when I couldn't find myself, he'd say, well, I don't know who you are. And because of that, it made me look at myself and examine who I was so that I could develop something that was recognizable to the audience. And I think one thing that is advice that he has given me is always be honest. And I think that's with yourself, with the people you're doing business with the audience. And so once I listened to that note and the other note and I put everything together, it worked.
The number one thing I always took from John Cena is he showed me what it takes to be a main eventer. Through media, the never say no attitude, John literally taught me that. John watches every match. And if you go backstage and you ask John Cena, hey, did you see my match? He'll say yes. Do you have any advice? And he'll give you advice.
If I had just one word to describe John in general, it would be hero. Everybody wants to wear shades and be cool and sneer and be a bad guy. John was the ultimate good guy, ultimately. I mean, the word I want to use is babyface, but I don't know how far this thing goes, you know?
His dedication to our fans is unmatched. And I've really tried to be that way myself, because if he has time, I don't know how I wouldn't.
John Cena is a master in the art of professional wrestling.
I don't think people realize just how good John Cena is. I mean, GOAT level. John Cena is GOAT level.